Hello, David Sussberg here. Welcome back to my channel. So I have the full moon chart pulled up for you. So today, October 6th, is the spicy super full moon in Aries, happening for me in Mountain Standard Time at 9:47 p.m. Obviously, adjust for your own time zone. So the full moon in Aries is happening at 14 degrees, and every full moon, the sun is in opposition to the moon. So today, the moon is in opposition to this sun over here at 14 degrees Libra. And Libra very much is that relationship sign. It's very much the other. It's how can we be in balance and harmony with our relationships while we seek beauty and peace, ultimately. And so that could be the sun is shining light on that, but the sun is also shining light on the moon, which is illuminating the Aries presence, which is very much that I am part of your being, is your self identity. It's that sovereign nature that you are. And it's the first shoots of spring that pop out declaring, like, this is who I am. So those are very much like a big acknowledgement. The universe, the light is shining upon you to declare who you are. And the stronger you can be, your own unique version, you help your relationships. So by asserting your needs and by expressing that. But remember to be a little bit conscious about your words because Aries can have that impatience, and so it can be, careful what you say. But it also is very beautiful because it has that motivation, that inspiration, that spark. So you could be kind of wanting to declare more of who you are, and perhaps there's more heightened emotions as there are with every full moon. And this particular full moon is interesting because we also, in addition to having the full moon in Aries, we have this little conjunction between Chiron, which is the wounded centaur, the wounded healer, showing where we are most vulnerable, our soul wounds, and it's conjunct this Eris, which is the goddess that was not invited to the party of all the gods, and so therefore it's kind of like this very fiery, repressed energy in a sense that needs to be expressed, and with Chiron being there in the sign of our self identity, there could be some sort of like, maybe we're having and we've experienced this for the last couple of years, but it could be heightened in this full moon that we are perhaps showing some of our vulnerability, or perhaps where we feel like insecure in our self identity. So this full moon is kind of encouraging you to shine a light on any parts of those parts of yourself that you might feel vulnerable in order to bring it to the surface, to bring light, so that you can kind of like gain more courage and declare more of who you are and be more self-assertive and self-confident in your like who you are and what you want to be for the future. So it's really important for you to identify where you have this in your own chart by house. And the house very much is like the area of life that these themes are taking place in. It's like a lens that you focus these other themes through. So for example, in this chart, it's happening in the 11th house, which is all about your vision for the future and how you want you to be of service to humanity. And that usually is through being your most authentic, unique version of yourself. You help the collective. So if this is happening in a different area for your life, maybe it's more about like home or relationships or career. So it's really important to identify where it's happening 14 degrees Aries in your chart. And I have another video on my channel that goes through how to access a free birth chart, and you can get that. Or you can always book a reading with me. We can go super deep and discover all these other aspects about, past, present, future, about your reality, which I really love to do. But in this particular full moon, the full moon is once again is highlighting the courage to express who you are and to be vulnerable about those parts of your self-identity that need to come to the light. And there's also a really interesting play too because we still have this Neptune right here conjunct Saturn, and Neptune is our higher mind, but it's more of like our spirituality, our higher self. And it's in the sign of 0 degrees Aries. It's the very birthing of the whole new zodiac wheel. And Saturn right there, this particular little one right here, is the 3D. It's very, very much the earth, the tangible reality. So with that Neptune spirituality, the higher, version of your life, you're kind of birthing that into creating heaven on earth. So there could be a big focus for you to be thinking about that and declaring that, whether you're, even if you don't have it, you're kind of being more aha moment. And perhaps there's even more of those truth bombs coming out because we got Mercury over here, and Mercury's in just became into Scorpio, and Scorpio is the most like deep parts of ourselves, and it's like sharing the most intimate parts of ourselves with another and merging. And Mercury, our mind, our communication, the way that we think and process information, is being squared to this. So here's the square 90-degree angle to this Pluto over here. And Pluto is all about your soul growth in this life. And it's in Aquarius, the sign of the collective. So Pluto's really asking you to be with your soul tribe as well as to be living the version of your future that you want, because Aquarius is very future orientated. It also can be like super out there energy, the stars, astrology. It can be like aliens, you name it, but there could be some truth bombs because there is always like a tension where they have like this 90 degrees. Literally, this Pluto right here is 90 degrees away from this Mercury, within a couple minutes. And yeah, so there's always a tension with squares, but if you can find common ground and kind of see the best of each particular theme, even if they're contradictory, there can be some greater beauty, there can be some greater growth. So squares can always be our biggest challenges, but our greatest opportunities for growth. So I really like this because it, on a soul level, Pluto is really asking you to be in alignment with your tribe and to kind of share the things that are the most vulnerable parts of yourself, but also like the most true parts to yourself. And this can be once again illuminated by that full moon in Aries, which is really talking about being your most genuine, authentic version because you're declaring who you truly are. I also wanted to highlight that we have Jupiter in this chart in Cancer. And Jupiter is the great benefic. It means it's like a really positive force in the universe. It's like a giant magnet of good luck and abundance. But it also magnifies and grows things. So with it being in Cancer, which is very much has to do with like our family, our home life, our inner heart, like the most vulnerable parts of our psyche, as well as like our family and our roots. Jupiter could be bringing to surface anything that has been repressed or you haven't really focused on it. Jupiter goes around the zodiac it takes 12 years, so it's going to be in a sign roughly for every year. It changes signs. So for this, the next 6 months or at least, Jupiter is really kind of asking you to bring to surface any emotions that you haven't maybe not processed. And especially this might be highlighted too with every full moon because it can be an emotional time, but that could be coming to the surface as well. And then we have Uranus conjunct Sedna. Uranus is truly the higher mind, and it's very much being your uniqueness. It's the planet of individuation, and it's very avant-garde. It's really kind of out there. The more unique you are, you can be seen as like, a freak, but because you're cutting edge, you're unique, you're, the future in a lot of ways. And it's in Gemini, which is all about communication and the way we process information. So this is very much like multi-dimensionality and multi perspectives upon things. And with Sedna, which is the Inuit goddess of the sea, super tragic kind of mythology, but she was betrayed and she fell to the bottom of the ocean, and her fingers and hands like became the sea creatures. And it's a really beautiful story of like kind of going to the most deep parts of our psyche and to transform sadness into beauty and provide abundance. So I really feel like we might be thinking about our parts of our psyche and transforming them, because Uranus is really much like the deity of earthquakes. And so it breaks down and shakes things up in order to build back, better. So I really feel that we might be doing that on the way that we think and the way we understand even our brains. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight these energies for you all today, and I hope you have a really beautiful full moon. And yeah, remember to get outside, go for a little walk, or do some dishes, kind of get that energy out. And I guess the last thing I'll share with you, last night when I woke up and I was thinking about the full moon, and I was kind of like, half sleep, half dream, and my imagination was running wild, and I just saw this full moon as like a forest with all like the peaceful trees that are breathing in all the beautiful oxygen, but there was like this pressure cooker, there was like this pressure system inside of it, and so you really might need to release the valve and be careful what you say. So just like, kind of get that energy out of by, some meditation or some, a little walk or some push-ups. But yeah, hope all is well, and stay tuned for more videos. All right, take care.